Today we're going to show you how to use Blender 3D to make terrain sculpts or sim extensions for those of you out there interested. When you open up Blender 3D, Blender 3D is a three-dimensional object editor that's free. We're going to go down here to Object to get rid of this default shape and hit Delete, Erase Selected Object, and we're going to go to Add, Mesh, and Sculpt Mesh. Now these options don't come in here on the basic default Blender. You're going to have to add some scripts in the scripting library. We're not going to go into that right now, but there's a tutorial online on how to do it through the wiki and Second Life, I believe, and a couple other places. When you come in here and you don't want a sphere, don't click on this button because that's going to be the load an object off your desktop. What you want to do is click in the gray here, and it'll give you a little selection. We're going to pick plane and then click build. You can roll your mouse forward to zoom in on it, and you can use your numerical pad, your 4, 8, 6, and 2 to rotate around the object. We're going to use 2 to bring it up a little bit like that, and then we're going to come down here to the object mode, and this is a combo box, so we can click on this and select sculpt mode. One trick I like is hitting the key N on your keyboard, and this brings up your selection from here. It's also the same down here, but I like it up here. So by default it's on draw, but we're going to go to grab, and we're going to bring our crosshairs to our sculpt mesh here and drag up, and then drag up, and maybe a little hump here, and we'll rotate around, and we'll add a nice one in the back. You can make this whole prim basically as wide as you want. You can make the height or width any difference you want, but I just chose to select square for this. We're going to level out the bottom here by using the grab tool to pull it down. This way, if you're sitting it in the water, it gives it a nice base to it. Now this hill kind of fell down a little bit on us, but when I turn it around, I'm going to see what it looks like first before I drag it back up. This I can kind of deal with, but I'm going to pull it up a little. Just add another nice peak. Rotate around, make sure it looks good. Now your next step on this, after you're happy with what you have, I'd probably put a little more work in this, but this is just for a tutorial. We're going to go up to render here, hit bake sculpt meshes, because you want to make sure you bake it before you export it. Then we're going to go to file, export, and you got all these options. We're going to go to Second Life LSL to directory, and instead of searching through all this for where we want to go, if you click under the P here, it generally gives you an option with your desktop or your documents. I'm going to click desktop and export LSL. Now if I minimize this and go to my desktop, there's a plain TGA file. We're just going to rename this Terrain 1, and we can import this into Second Life and texture it with, say, a sand texture, snow texture, or mountain texture, and you're good to go.